What's happening, everybody? Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. It is about 12:30 Eastern on Thursday. So we're going to talk about Week 5 in college football. Lots of injuries, news, notes, nuggets, some updated games of the year, etc. Let's get it going. All right, as of Thursday right now, there are 7 quarterbacks listed as questionable still. Let me give you those. Purdue's Elijah Sindelar, who was leading the nation in passing before he missed that TCU game. Stanford's KJ Costello, man, Stanford's got some issues. They're on the way to their worst season ever under David Shaw. Indiana's Michael Penix, which I don't know if that's a big deal. Peyton Ramsey is their backup, who I think he had 16 career starts before he's gotten this last start or two with Penix out. Ole Miss's Matt Corral. Mississippi State's Tommy Stevens. I don't know that matters. I think Garrett Schrader, that true freshman, is kind of taking that gig. I think it's his. Georgia Southern Shy Wirtz, but he's been iffy here for weeks now. And then FSU's James Blackman, and I'm not sure Hornibrook wasn't going to get the starting nod against NC State anyway. So now 3 quarterbacks have been upgraded to probable, that being the 2 guys that really screwed me last week, although I still am very high on Ryan Hilinski and Sawyer Smith. I had Kentucky and South Carolina. Hilinski had that really fluky play. The pass got batted down. Obviously, it was coming back to him. He should have immediately batted it down. He briefly caught it, just very momentarily, and then spiked it, but it was called a lateral, a backwards, a touchdown. And then they get the great play by Brian, Mama Can't Spell Edwards, to start the second half. Missouri answers with a touchdown, but then South Carolina's down the red zone, 3rd and goal, down 10. I had South Carolina plus 10, and he throws a 100-yard pick six. But Hilinski was still banged up from the Bama game. He has not been limited in any way this week. Muschamp said he made every throw on Tuesday's practice. So he and Sawyer Smith are both probable. They play each other. South Carolina -3. Kentucky has won 5 in a row over South Carolina, which is wild. But Muschamp never lost to Kentucky in 4 years at Florida, so that gives him a 4-3 career record against the Cats. But Sawyer Smith probable. They had a promising drive going to start the Mississippi State game. They had several first downs, and then he throws a pick six. And then the kicker for Kentucky, Chance Poor, he was piss poor again. Let me check that. I'm pretty sure that's the kid's name. He missed the chip shot, potential game winner against Florida, although the Gators did go get a touchdown and had time potentially to do so. Chance piss poor. Missed a chip shot, the Sawyer Smith pick six, the 10-point swing on the pick six by Hilinski, the gift touchdown. Now, South Carolina kind of got a gift turnover defensively as well that set them up for a 2 or 3 yard drive for a touchdown. So for those that say it evens out, the Hilinski bat down or not bat down defensive touchdown, that evened out. The 101-yard pick six, 10-point swing, that would have given me a push. Sawyer Smith's pick six, the missed chip shot field goal, that would have been 21-16. I would have covered there. But Georgia pick was awful. My day last Saturday got off to a great start. Pounded LSU -7 first quarter, which was sketch city to start as Vandy took the opening drive for a touchdown, ate up 5 or 6 minutes, but then LSU scored in 3 or 4 plays, got it back. Or actually, I think they had to get a 4th down stop on Keyshawn Vaughn. Scored in 3. It was 28-7 into the first quarter. I had Wisconsin, easy winner, and I had my Gators, which was looked pretty good the whole way. The rest of the day was a flipping disaster. So anyway, bounce back mode here. Let me share. Oh, the other quarterback who got upgraded to probable was Utah's Tyler Huntley. However, the stud running back, Zach Moss, who has run for 393 yards, 4 touchdowns on 63 attempts, has been downgraded to doubtful with a shoulder injury. He left the first half of last week's Friday night loss against USC and never came back. But Huntley is probable. Huntley's played well. 5 touchdowns without an interception, 812 yards, QB rating of 177, 64 of 84. Wow, that's approaching 80%, isn't it? Me just doing my math in my head? I think it is. Let me give you a pick I like this week. Kind of off the beaten path here. Let's go with the Troy Trojans, -6.5. And I'm not sure I wouldn't have liked this anyway, but Arkansas State has got major injury situations with them. Okay, Logan Bonner, their quarterback, been playing great all year. 1,052 passing yards, 10-1 TDI&T ratio, season-ending thumb surgery yesterday. Huge loss for the Red Wolves, but that's not it. I mean, they've got other injuries. Their leading rusher, both last year and this year, Marcel Murray, he is questionable with an ankle this week. You've also got their second leading rusher, Ryan Graham. He also had a season-ending injury last week against Southern Illinois, which lost at Arkansas State 41-28, but had advantages in first downs, 27-22, and total offense, 526 to 474. But that's not it. Junior cornerback Jerry Jacobs for Arkansas State. Second team All Sun Belt selection last season when he had 4 interceptions, 8 passes broken up, 3 tackles for loss. He went down with a season-ending injury at Georgia in week 3 and missed that game last week. And now another new injury. Arkansas State senior defensive tackle Kevin Thurman. He's out 2 to 4 weeks with a hand injury. And he's a guy that was a preseason second team All Sun Belt in Phil Steele's mag. He had 63 tackles last year, 3.5 sacks, and 8.5 tackles for loss. And by the way, when I say tackles for loss, I don't count sacks. I think a lot of people in college football media do. So when I say he had 8.5 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks, if you've seen that said or written somewhere else, it might have been the 8.5 plus the 3.5, which would give us, 12? So you might hear people saying 12 tackles for loss. Just to let you know, I don't do that. Maybe I should. I don't know if that is the way you should do it. I don't know. I just look in my Phil Steele mag, and he doesn't do it like that. Tackles for loss he has separate from sacks. All right, Arkansas State also 4-8 against the spread their last 12 as a road underdog. And we've got Caleb Barker for Troy. He is playing outstanding football. He's got a 9-1 TDI&T ratio. So let's go with Troy. I'll give you a couple of stats on the Navy-Memphis game tonight. Navy is 3-1 straight up, 4-0 against the spread against Memphis since they came in the AAC. Navy's about a 10.5 point dog right now under Ken Nui-Matalolo during his 12-year tenure. They are 23-12 against the spread in 35 games as a road underdog. And remember, Memphis is going to be without their star running back, Patrick Taylor. Pop Williams, one of their better receivers. He had a season-ending injury here in the last week or so. And then their starting nose tackle, O'Brien Goodson, is questionable with a leg injury. And actually, let me go check and see if there's an update on O'Brien Goodson for Memphis, their starting nose tackle. And it looks like there has not been an update. He is still listed as questionable for the Tigers, who are double-digit favorites against the Midshipmen tonight on Thursday. All right, looking to this weekend, boy, wow, what a finish in Pullman last week. Unbelievable comeback by UCLA. So what was Chip Kelly? 3-9 last year. Was he 0-3 going into that game last week? He was, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he was. He sure was. So he was 3-12 and down by 32 at Washington State. And UCLA rallied. What a finish. Late night feel good hours in the Pac 12. 67-63. But Washington State, now remember I mentioned they're at Utah. Give me 2. Actually, Washington State's getting 6. But remember, Zach Moss is doubtful. And Washington State's won 4 in a row over Utah. And they are 16-5 against the spread in their last 21 as a road underdog going back to 2013. And my man Anthony Gordon is playing out of his mind. No wonder Gabe Gubrid, the transfer from Eastern Washington, didn't win this job. Gordon, don't blame him. Don't blame him for that loss last week. He hung 63. He's thrown for 1,894 yards in 4 games. 4 games. Good gracious, that's way over 400 yards passing per game. 21-4 TDI-INT ratio. Okay, Arizona State tomorrow night at Cal as a road underdog under Herm Edwards. Arizona State is 4-1 against the spread. And as great a job as Justin Wilcox does, and he's got a real nasty, salty defense at Cal, and as much as they have done outstanding since he left, since he got there, as a home favorite, they have not excelled in that role. In fact, they're an abysmal 1-6-1 against the spread as a home fave. They're minus 4.5 or 5 to ASU, and I like the true freshman quarterback for ASU, Jaden Daniels. 5-1 TDI-INT ratio, 1,073 passing yards through 4 games. Okay, let's get to some other trends, injury notes, etc. Boise State, another big injury loss is their leading tackler, sophomore linebacker Ezekiel Noah. I mean, did he stay in the game when he had one of these injuries and then get it the next? I don't know, but he got not only a torn ACL in last week's 30-19 home win where they covered the spread against Air Force. Not only did he tear his ACL, he also broke his wrist. Can you do all that on the same play? I don't know. I'm not sure if it was on the same play or what. However, he's done for the year. He had 28 tackles, 2 for loss, 1 sack, meaning 3 for loss in other verbiage from other college media folks. And he had 1 QB hurry as well. Go to MajorWager.com. Check out Christopher Smith's power rankings. He ranked them 1 through 130. I don't do that diligent of a job. I do not go all the way from 1 to 130. Heisman odds this week. Tua, the plus 180 chalk, at least at sportsbook.ag, the offshore where I looked these numbers up. But here comes Joe Burrow at plus 350. Boy, is Burrow playing out of his mind right now. 80.6 completion percentage, 1,520 yards, 17-2 TD INT ratio. They hung 66 on Vandy last week. Let's see, what else? Okay, I had some good ATS notes for K-State at Oklahoma State. And then the Bear, Chris Fallica of Game Day and ESPN fame, he added some separate notes that apply. Let me give you mine first. Since 2009, the Pokes, the Fighting Mike Gundys, they're 31-21-2 against the spread as home favorites. But on the flip side of that, and this obviously is counting that big win in Starkville a couple of weeks ago, Kansas State, since 2010, 24-8 against the spread in 32 games as a road underdog. Now the Bear, Chris Fallica, and because I do my own rankings, I don't give a shit what other AP and coach, I don't even look at those rankings. So I don't even know who's ranked. But when I saw this from the Bear, I went and looked, and I guess K-State's like 24 in AP or coaches or one of those polls of people that don't know what the hell they're doing with their rankings. But anyhow, K-State's ranked. Oklahoma State is not ranked, although I have Oklahoma State power ranked way higher than K. Well, not way higher, but like 5 spots ahead of K-State. Anyhow, Oak State unranked. So the Bear tells us, dating back to the start of last season, 9 unranked teams have been favored by more than a field goal, and Oklahoma State's around -4, 4.5 to K-State. Favored by more than a field goal versus a ranked team. In those instances, the unranked team is 7-2 against the spread, and he also added, at home when unranked and playing a ranked team, Oklahoma State has won 4-0 outright. Obviously, the Texas win last year comes to mind as one of those. They might have had another one last year as a home. Yeah, they sure do. They beat the brakes off of Boise, 17th ranked Boise, 44-21 last year. Some good off the beaten path game for sure, but I lean ODU here as the Monarchs have been giving people fits. The Monarchs gave Virginia all they wanted last week, and they gave Virginia Tech a good game a couple weeks ago. Virginia Tech's awful, man. They barely beat Furman. They had to rally in that game. But anyway, the ODU... All right, so against Virginia last week, ODU had more first downs, 16-14. They had more total offense, 270-244. They led by 10 with 10 minutes left in the third quarter, and Virginia got a pick 6. So they had the ball up 10 minutes left in the third, and Virginia got a pick 6, went on to win 28-17. Yeah, I believe that was the final. Okay, since 2016, ODU at home, 13-6 straight up. All right, by the way, if I didn't admit, ODU's -3 in this game, 2.5, 3. I got it at 2.5 on ODU. East Carolina, in their last 18 road games since 2016, they are 1-17 straight up. And in their last 17, this is going back further, because they've had some road favorite spots, but not many, I don't think. But anyway, the Pirates are 3-13-1 against the spread in their last 17 as road underdogs. All right, I have more stats for you. Let's see. Oh, some notable updated games of the year from the Westgate. Let's see here. Let's go with the Gators are -17 versus the Semis. Georgia's -17 against A&M. Georgia's also -10 against the Gators. In fact, the Gators are double-digit dogs in 2 situations here. Clearly, the Westgate is downgraded Florida with Felipe Franks, and I think that's a mistake. Kyle Trask, quicker decisions, just a much better passer, period. I think it's an upgrade. I really do. And I hate Felipe got hurt, man. I'm not trying to pick at him. He's a team player. He's been good for the Gators. I know I've been one of his biggest critics. I kind of came around on him late last year and was pretty good, to him this offseason. But, man, it's just like night and day. I mean, Felipe would take so long to make a decision. And, I mean, Trask, he would just drop back, 1, 2, throw. It's out. Receiver hasn't even looked yet. Receiver looks. Oh, I'm wide open. Oh, there's the ball. Hadn't had that in about a decade in Gainesville. We don't have coach no more. He's drawing ball plays up. So look here. Alabama minus 17 at A&M. Alabama is minus 11 to LSU now. Remember, over the summer, Alabama's smallest spread was minus 13 at Auburn. That's up to 14.5. And Auburn also has 2 double-digit dog spots as they are plus 12.5 at LSU. In that big revenge game for LSU later in the year, they are minus 15.5 to A&M. Red River rivalry, Oklahoma's minus 10.5 to Texas. And, Ohio State is now favored against Michigan. Remember, they were underdogs despite, what have they won, 15 out of 16 against them? They were underdogs coming into the year, but now Ohio State, not only are they favored, they're favored by 10.5 at Michigan. The poor old itching Harbaughs, the poor old itching Vols and Pruitts, and the poor old itching Semis. But good win last week, FSU. Yeah, Willie. Yeah, Willie, let's keep you around, buddy. Get you another win against NC State. I'm okay with it. Oh, and by the way, Auburn is not a double-digit underdog a third time because they are plus 7.5 at home to Georgia. Apple Cup, Washington minus 9.5 versus Washington State. All right, I have a radio show with Kwok and Kelly in Clemson in about 5 minutes. So I better get going. I could keep going. I could talk more. I know I've got more injuries on my Twitter feed I've talked about. Check out my Twitter feed at Vegas B. Edwards. More importantly, check out Major Wager's Twitter feed at Major Wager Uno. We've got a lot of fresh content on the homepage. Check it out. We got more coming. We've got previews of this week's games from Blake Von Hagen. We've got some NFL picks from Julian Edlow coming in my Week 5 primer, which I guess this is the video version of it, but my written version will be a lot more extensive, polished, whatever. Best of luck on your bets and ball games. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Week 5. It is Thursday. Good luck tonight. I'm going with the Packers minus 4 in the NFL. And I'm going to roll the Nui Matalolos. They've already had 2 open dates. Weird. But Memphis is a little injured. Navy is catching double digits. And Navy's had their number. So we'll see. Again, best of luck, bets and ball games. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. College football week 5 primer on September 26th. Happy belated to my sister. I told her yesterday. It was her birthday, the 25th. But happy birthday again, Rebecca. I'm out.